Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it's
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. You can listen to us live 11:30 to 12:30 every Thursday on the Business Radio X networks. I'm Ted Jenkins, your co-host. This is our other co-host, Chris Hanks, who's the executive director and founder of the Now Shore Center for Entrepreneurship. We're joined by Joey today from his class, who's a junior at KSU, and Derrick Meek, who's the owner of the GreenSeason Group. We had an amazing interview today with Derrick. I think this is one of the best ones we've had in terms of content today, and you should really listen to an entire replay of it on the shrimptankpodcast.com or download us on iTunes. You can download us for Shrimp Tank.
So I was fascinated by a business like yours that relies on sort of what they consider low-skilled labor. How do you scale a business like that?
Well, I think one of the most difficult things when it comes to scaling a business is obviously every business wants to grow. I mean, that's a natural course a business should be taking. And with growth, you have to have assets to produce the work. And I think one of the most difficult things is to manage your manpower. Either I have too much or I don't have enough. And somehow get sales and production or operations to communicate so that when you do have projects that are selling, you are sure that you, best you can, that you have the people that are going to be able to produce it. Because the last thing you want to do, of course, is go out and have a great month on sales, but the performance, of course, with the client experience is going to be lackluster because you have underskilled labor.
Well, what do you think is the biggest non-monetary incentive that employees have not just to come to your company, but to stay with you for the long term?
I think you have to show people how to win. And so you build a metric and you show them they're making a difference. And I think especially for guys in our field, they want to, depending on the department, they really get to see the after effect of what they're doing. So we want to celebrate that. We want to get pictures of the properties they do, talk about how awesome that looks, talk about maybe sharing some experiences that we get on the front end when we talk to the client, what the client said about it. That goes a long way.
We shared a lot of interesting stuff today about the business, and I know at some point, now that you have 100 employees and you've grown to an amazingly big size right now in terms of a business, there becomes that point that you make the transition of working in the business that literally, I'm sure at some point you were on every job, and now you're working more on the business. How do you recommend for an entrepreneur watching the post-show wrap-up to make that transition in their business? What does an entrepreneur need to prepare for to be able to make that transition?
Well, I think that's, depending on the person, that's a lot easier said than done. I think the most important thing is that you have a great team. We have a great team. And, in making sure that you have the leadership there that's going to do it the way that you would do it. And also understanding that people are going to make mistakes, and you have to allow that. If everything's going to be perfect and you jump in every time something bad happens, then you're micromanaging and people aren't going to make any more decisions. Then you're right back into the business. So I think you have to be able to let go, let people have the opportunity to run it on their own, and then step away.
Do you think that delegating tasks is one of the toughest things to do as an entrepreneur? Like being able to just delegate and let go?
I think it is. I think it comes down to communication, because it's something that you probably intuitively took care of without communicating that to someone else, and making sure that you communicate that to someone so the expectation is set. They know when to step in. Now,
is there one plant or flower or tree that somebody should never install on their lawns? Like it's the most, I don't know why I had this image growing up of like the trees that the Japanese beetles like love to chew up, but is there something that you should just never plant? It's just not a good idea?
I have a couple that I don't particularly care for. It's probably more aesthetic than anything else, but the firepower Nandina has never been one of my favorites. And then, Iliagnus is an old one, the kind you see that grows on the on-ramps at highways that just look like a giant monster, only because you have to prune them so much.
That's funny stuff. I always thought the Japanese maples were the nicest. I just love the way that they look. But amazing stuff. And you ought to really check out all of the stuff that the GreenSeason Group does. And Derrick, for those people that are watching the post-show wrap-up today, if they've got a landscaping job in their home, or they've got somebody that seems to come but the grass always looks like it's dead, or the pine straw that was supposed to be there is not there, how can they get in touch with you to learn more about the services that your company offers if they own a commercial building or they have a residential property?
Yeah, I think we'd love to hear from them on our website. GreenSeasonGroup.com is probably one of the easiest ways for people these days. Of course, they can give us a call at our main number, 678-714-4114. Happy to take either, whatever's more convenient for them.
Well, we learned a lot from Derrick today, and you'll learn a lot if you go to the post-show wrap-up and you watch the entire podcast that we did today, or take that listen to it, about this idea in my mind of being able to seed your lawn, like finding the talent in there that will grow so one day you don't have to do all the jobs in your business and you can have other people that do it for you. That's the idea of growing a business. So thanks again for coming on the show, and thank you all for watching the post-show wrap-up. We look forward to seeing you again when you listen to the Shrimp Tank.